Broken things can become a blessing if you let God do the mending. Welcome to Broken to be Blessed Network, where dynamic women will share their experiences that will inspire, and experiences that have turned out to be a blessing. Now here's your host, Samantha McNeil.
Hey, Lady Theresa, it's your time to share with
All
us
right.
your journey.
Thank you. Kristal, babies born in this pandemic is considered a blessing and a miracle. Born and survive.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay, so as I previously mentioned that I am a mother of two boys. Now with my first son, in 2000, it wasn't much. I didn't have too much complications, really, like the morning sickness and all those discomfort I did, but it wasn't so extreme. And even the birthing process, it was, of course, hard, yes, but thanks be to God, I went through, I delivered, got some patching up, yes, and yeah. But with my second son, the one who acts as if he is Mr. Horace Reid, my father, he gave me all that in my tummy. Now, when I discovered that I was pregnant, at that time, really, I wasn't ready for another child. But of course, I accepted, I acknowledged that, yes, this is it, accepted it, and I moved on. Now, around 3 months, I was having my morning sicknesses and all of that. And around 3 months into the pregnancy, I realized that something strange was really happening in terms of some cramps that I was getting, but went to the doctor, and of course, my doctor said it was like normal and all of that. So about 4 months, I noticed that I could hardly walk. And I was like nowhere into pregnancy. There was so much discomfort. And I remember where I was working, this lady, she had like a huge tummy. She was about like 8 to 9 months close to have baby. And she would run up the stairs, run down the stairs. She was so active. And I was like so sad. I was like, I'm just like 4 months, going into 5 months. What's going on with me? I can hardly walk. I'm having this stiffness in my tummy, in my back, all this pain, all this discomfort. What's really going on with me? And I remember once, I heard she told someone that, she had gone like she can't walk or something wrong with her, look at me. And that really broke me because I knew what I was experiencing. So that really broke me. Anyway, it continued. Went to my doctor. My doctor, she said that she tested me and everything, did her examinations, and things seemed to be well. 6 months into my pregnancy, I was at work one day and I was really, really feeling a lot of pain in my abdomen. And my supervisor came over to me and she said, are you okay? And I said, yes, I am. She said, no, you're not okay. I'm going to take you to the doctor. And I said, okay, fine. She drove me to my doctor. I gave her the direction. She drove me to my doctor. When my doctor, did an examination, she was like, when are you due? I said, December 20th. She was like, no, the baby's coming now. I'm like, seriously? She said, yes. So they rushed me to the hospital, which was pretty close to her office. And when I got there, she sent a note. She was also one of the senior doctor at that particular hospital. So she contacted them to let them know that she was sending her patient and exactly what was happening. And she also gave me a note. Now, they had to be there with the intention of delivering my premature baby. And I was there and they said I should call, whoever I had to call to take stuff there for me because it was time all of this delivery thing to take place. Deep in the back of my mind, I was like, no, 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 my baby's not gonna born now. My baby needs to be to develop more and whatever. Then shortly after, my doctor came by and she was like, no, don't touch her. So she had prescribed, I think it's Ventolin, or a midwife here would know what I'm talking about. She prescribed Ventolin to kind of still still to stop the contractions, really. Because I was dilating. I think I was about like at 2 centimeters I was dilating. And so she did that so it would settle the womb, yes, stop the contractions and the dilation, all of that. And then it stopped. I was there for, I think, about a week being treated, under observation and all of that. Then they released me and told me that I should be on bed rest. Now, to be totally honest, that was really hard for me. I did not go back to work because, of course, bed rest, and I wanted to go back to work, but my boss, they were like, and oh, you cannot come back to work. You're going to stay home. So that was, that kind of took me mentally because I do not like not to be still. I like to be moving, doing something. So it really got to me, mentally and emotionally. But I was home, tried to stay on bed rest, but it wasn't easy for me to do so. I still had to get up out of the bed. I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. My neighbors would see me and they would rush over and like, they call me Sheena. They were like, no, no, Sheena, are you serious? No, 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 you're not going to do this. Give it to me, let me do it. So sometimes I would have to be hiding and doing stuff. So I remember they had to rush me back to the hospital this time for real. He was coming. So when they rushed me back to the hospital and we contacted my doctor, she came by, right? And they were also ready to deliver my boy again around 7 months there. So they were doing a lot the vaginal insertion, they were doing it, and I started bleeding. And again, my doctor told them not to touch me. Don't touch me. She was like, my guardian angel, do not touch her. So I was admitted again for nearly 3 weeks. And during that 3 weeks, from 2 into 3 weeks, they diagnosed me with gestational diabetes. So I had gestational diabetes. I wasn't really eating healthy. I wanted nothing healthy to eat. I just wanted all those kind of things, red ring and drops and all those. I would even have to hide and eat those things. I just wanted those things to eat, nothing healthy, just give me those things. And I remember they sent me, when they discharged me, I had a big bag filled with insulin. I had to be doing my thing. No, before I get there, during the 3 weeks while I was at the hospital, every morning they had to withdraw blood. Every single morning. When I look at my hand here, both of them, they were black and blue. And I remember when I wake up in the mornings, I was like to the ladies next to me, I was like, okay, the vampires are coming now. They're coming to take my blood now. And then I also had to get an injection on my butt every morning too. That really hurts. So finally, when one night I was there sleeping, and it's that my sugar, it dropped really low. I felt like I was floating. I was gonna die. I was like, nurse, I'm dying. I'm dying. So she ran over to me, and they checked me and everything and realized that's what was happening. And I went to sleep, and I had a vision that one of the lady next to me, like she was losing her baby. When I woke up the morning, in fact, that really happened. They had to stitch her womb. However, she lost the baby died and all the whole thing. So that was so emotional for me being in there and all of that. But I knew, I had the belief that it was not going to happen to me any at all. My baby was going to born healthy and he was going to be alive and all of that. Anyway, when they discharged me after the 3 weeks and they discharged me, I went home and I was there. I decided, okay, I'm gonna take my rest. I'm not gonna move around. I did a little, but nothing, yeah, although I should not have done it. But I was there and then I felt this was the moment. I knew that this time it was not the full 9 months, but what I felt, I knew that this was the time. He is coming. So they rushed me to the hospital, and I got there around 8:50. Yes, it was 8:50, a Thursday night, November 26th. Yeah, I got there 8:50 p.m. And in the morning, around 3:28 a.m., 3:28 a.m., I gave birth. Now, during that time, during the whole laboring process, I was like, I had my phone. I was like calling, my friends. I was like, I want jobs. Please take jobs for me. I want jobs while I was in labor. I remember with my first son when I was in labor, I wanted KFC too. I wanted food. I'm a foodie. So I was like, I want jobs, please, jobs. So I kept telling them during labor. So when it was time, for the baby to come, and the nurses were there with me, and it was not a long process because he was already positioned from 6 months. So it wasn't a long process. It was painful, but it wasn't so much of a long process. Now, when my baby was born and, they went off to get him cleaned up and everything, I passed out. I passed out totally, knocked out. And when they came back to me, they found me on the ground, bleeding, knocked out. They did what they had to do and treated me and all of that. And then they placed us on the ward. No, when we were placed on the ward, my baby didn't come with me, not we. He didn't come with me. They took him to the nursery because they said that they had to run some tests on him because I had the gestation diabetes. They had to run some tests on him. So I had to go to the nursery, like, in the mornings, and I was like swollen. I was huge. I was so little before all of that. And I got so big like jackfruit. So every morning, I had to be going to the nursery, to check on my little boy and all of that. Then babies who were in the nursery, excuse me, babies who were in the nursery, I saw all those babies being discharged from the nursery, and my baby was still in the nursery. And I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. My baby was still in the nursery, and I was like, okay, I have my olive oil. Because I sneaked it in the hospital, I had it there. I was like, okay, I have my olive oil. I'm going to anoint him, and I'm going to declare him coming out today. And I went there and I secretly did it. And I went up, laid down. And minutes after, I felt a tap on my shoulder. My baby was discharged. I was like, thanks be to God. And then about 2 days after, we got discharged from the hospital, went home, and things were like back to normal, except I was still swollen. And thanks be to God, I was not taking the insulin or whatever anymore. My pressure was up, but it was stabilized. And my baby, he was just, oh my God. I remember one day the doctor came to me, the nurse, and she was like, you have a beautiful little boy down there in the nursery. It was so, still, I don't want him to hear me saying was. At that time, he would, if you hear me like, excuse me. Right. So when I brought him home, and family and friends, they came by and they were like, oh my God. But his mouth was like open for a long time. They were like, you're gonna be a chatter. He was like, for a long time, like days and weeks. It was like wide open. So but it was a beautiful journey after giving birth, after I came out of that whole thing, giving birth, and watching this bundle of joy, with my older son, and they bonded. It was just an awesome journey after all of that. And God is good. That is good. Motherhood, I said there's no hood like motherhood. No matter what it comes with after the whole birthing
Theresa
process. Oh
Reid.
my God, it's like, oh my God, what I went, we forget about those things, what we went through, because here comes a bundle of joy, even though there are hiccups and aches and pains at times with them, but we do enjoy them, and just a beautiful story with them.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Theresa. And I'm gonna question you because Theresa look, how old Theresa look? How old is your first son, Theresa?
Gonna be 21 on the 21st of the third month in the year 2021.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh wow. Wow, awesome. You're so young and frisky and bubbly,
Oh,
Theresa.
Jesus.
How is it being mother of boys? I saw a pic once where they said that mothers of boys need an award because
Oh, God.
even when the mother is feeding, want to feed the son, and she has to be climbing on the rail,
Oh,
while one is
God.
down the bottom and the other one she has to be the boy is climbing the grill and she has to be feeding him up there. So how is it being my mother of boys?
Prophetess.
2 boys.
One. Active, 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 active. They are so energetic. Now,
Nicole has a boy too, so I guess she can tell us.
I mean, with my first son, really, I could not keep on, not even half full, because I had to be like, I was like very, very still slim, but I'm always behind them, always behind them, left and right, and my friends were always like watching and laughing. They're very energetic, and to be honest with you, I maybe because I'm a boy, mom, why to me it seems easy because I am a newborn care specialist, right? I do one-on-one with mothers and newborn, and I always just want the boys. Always want the boys, even though I've had those experience with my boys being so energetic and being so strong and all of that. I'm just always I always want the boys. Having the girls, I'm like, this is not for me. When I get the girls, I'm like, this is not for me. I'm just so used to the boys. It wasn't, so easy with them. But I think for me, in some aspect, the work was kind of less because, like combing the ear and all of those things, but because I'm not really like the ear person. But it's not, I would say it's not so, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
not.
I guess a mother have to do what a mother have to do. So
Yeah, it's
whether
not
or
bad,
not it will
and
work, it will work.
they have their own personality. We all do, they do things, they say things, they act, in ways that are very, very much disturbing. But as mothers, we have to correct them just the same and punch them when they need to get punched. I hope I won't get a knock on my door or call. Yeah. But it has really been good for me. My friends always say, I don't know how you do it. I couldn't do it, with the boys. I guess God graced me with that strength for the boys.
At this time, I'm gonna have Claudia sharing with us, and she's gonna tell us about herself a little bit, and then she's gonna get into her journey. We know that mothers have different experiences, and as Marie mentioned, we know that so the faces differ, so are the journeys. So Claudia is now over to you.
Hello everyone, my name is Claudia Noble Grant. I am a wife, I am a mother of a beautiful daughter. Her name is Zion Grant. I proudly wear the sash of mommy for that beautiful daughter that I have. I am also a firm believer in the Word of God, hence my core values and principles are so aligned to the Word of the Lord. I am about to share part of my birth story with you, well, my delivery story with you, and I hope that someone is really blessed and an upcoming mother will really learn something or be encouraged, That doesn't matter how your process begins, how it progresses. It's really the ending where this beautiful baby belongs to you and to daddy. All right. So my birth story, well, before I get to my birth story, I do not know, as a mother, I do not know what it feels like to have morning sicknesses. I do not know what it feels like to have extra cravings. I never had cravings. I just ate almost everything that I could think about. And I've had a very easy pregnancy. So up to about 6 to 7 months, I was still assisting with the coaching of a netball team at school, so forth and so on, all of that. So there were days that persons would remind me, hey, remember you're pregnant, you know? So I had that of an easy pregnancy. So as I was growing up, though, I would have heard that, hey, if you have an easy pregnancy, you may end up having hard delivery. Now, I don't know if that is a myth, but in my book, it became a reality, and it became something that I can quote to say that, yes, easy pregnancy equal hard labor. And again, it doesn't have to be like that for everyone. No, I was due to deliver the 18th of August 2017. So after hearing that, I was very happy because I was born in the month of August as well. So to hear that your child, whether boy or girl at the moment, would have been born in that month was always a joy. However, I didn't want to share my birthday. So on the 18th, when I was due, the day came, it passed, the 19th came, it passed, the 20th came and it passed. And at this time now, I was a bit nervous because, as I said, I didn't really want to share my birthday. All right. So the 22nd came and I sat up the night. I can vividly remember. I sat up the night until it was midnight, which would have been August 23rd, to say, even if I go in labor now, my daughter is going to be born on the 23rd, and which I'm fine with. All right. But that didn't happen. So it got to the point now where I was introduced to the whole idea of being induced, all of that. Now, before we got there, there were no signs of any, what do you call it, anything abnormal. But, you know, just to be safe and to really put all your options out there. So I had a lovely doctor. He's one of the best that I've ever heard of. And in my book, he became the best because he's the only one I experienced for birth and process during that process and the delivery process as well. So, as I said, he was very patient. He made the opportunity, if you would call it that, seemingly a very rewarding one. And then after delivery, it really felt like that. So he introduced me to the whole idea of induction and all of that. So I was referred to be induced on the 25th of August. So I got admitted in the hospital on the 24th of August. While being admitted, it was very good. It was easy. I had a nurse who was also, or is still also, my church sister. So I was in good hands, and she's a praying woman of God. So I knew I was in good hands. So with my doctor being a believer of my faith, my nurse being a believer of my faith, I felt as though I was comfortable enough. So I went in with a very positive mindset. And I am always believing that your mindset is really important. You go in positive, you may get obstacles along the way, but because you started out being positive, it's almost impossible for you to just go under. All right, it's gonna take a time because you went in with a positive mindset. With that being said, I went in. I was admitted on the 24th, as I said before. Comfortable, very, very comfortable. The nurses there, they were excellent, and they took good care of me. And I would have seen it being transferred to other patients as well. So I would have gone in. I had my prayer service the morning, and persons came and we shared the word of God. We spoke. I remember one particular lady who came and asked for prayer because of many other things that were happening. So I realized that the ministry continued even whilst being prepared for delivery. Now, the day of the 25th, I was induced at about 5 a.m., around about 5 a.m. to about 5:15 a.m. I was channeled through the process, and I was given instructions to say, all right, this is what you do if this happens, if you feel this particular way, ensure you do this, and so on, so forth. As I said, they were very good. So being induced at 5:30, my day continued like nothing happened. At 9, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning, now I started to feel some pain. Around about that hour, started to feel some pain. My nurse came and she started to check. I was 3 centimeters dilated at about 1 p.m. At that time, you know, you feel like you're getting into it and so on. At 2 p.m. I was 3 centimeters. Now I started to feel real big people, big woman pain. Now pain that I can't explain and will never try to explain. So at 2 p.m., 3 p.m. started to feel pain. 4 p.m. in the evening, the nurses came and they said, all right, Mrs. Grant, I'm going to ask that you walk about just to and fro. They had some theory about moving about when you have been induced and the pain and all of that. I can't quote it, but I knew I heard something of the sort while preparing for delivery. So I was about, I walked for about an hour, in between minutes though. So I would walk for like 5 minutes, 2 minutes tops probably, sit and rest, probably a few other minutes and so on. With that being said, at about 6:30 thereabout, I started to feel more pain, started to feel nauseous. I started to feel headache. But between those hours, my nurse was always there. She came, she checked the baby's heart rate, she checked mine, she checked my pressure. I don't normally have high blood pressure or low for that matter, but you know, just to monitor and ensure that everything was going fine. So she would have done that throughout the process, and you know, I was really grateful. All went well up until about, say, 7 o'clock when one of my doctors came in. So he came in, hi Mrs. Grant, how are you? Check my files. He was the one on ward for that evening. And he said, all right, so what time induced, so and so. All right, if I come back here in another half an hour, something of the sort, he said, and you're still under pain and you've not delivered, I'm taking you to the theater. No, this is where this was the first time I started to think other than outside of the box that I went in, because I really went into a box. I went in that box saying, you're going in, feel some pain, deliver, go home. That's the box that I went in. And so when he said that, it's the first time I kind of peeped through the box a little and to say, oh, guess what? There's a possibility that how I planned it, it may not happen. So he came, and at that point in time, my nurse was saying, you know, I don't want you to have a cesarean section. You're young, and you may want to go back again for another child. You know, just be nice, just being a nice person, and so on. So when he came back, it was some minutes to 8 o'clock. I was still in pain. Now at this point in time, he said, dress her for surgery, prep her for surgery. So the nurse was there now. She started to put on, you know, that gown that they wear to surgery and all of that. She started to check me to ensure that everything was intact and so forth and so on. So I was being prepped for surgery. Now my nurse started to say, remember I told you she was a woman, she is a woman of God. She started to say, listen, you're going to have to use some faith in this one, just like how I'm doing this. That's how she said it. Use some faith. You have to put in some faith. And I turned to her that, listen, I've been in pain all afternoon. No, if at this point in time I need faith, I'm going to ask you to help me with your faith because mine is a little low. Something of the sort. I didn't quote myself a while ago. So, well, she started to sing, Waymaker, Miracle Worker, Promise Keeper. She started to sing that. No, I started to hear the words and I believed the words of the song. However, my physical person was very weak. I was nauseous, my head was hurting. What other thing? My lower body felt as though I was almost crippled or crippled. It just felt very numb, so forth and so on. So she started to sing and she started to march around the bed and she sang the song and I was believing with her, but physically I had little or nothing left. So while singing, she said, all right, I'm going to check you one more time. If I check you now and you are not where I want you to be, you may really need to go to theater because you've been in pain and I don't want to distress the baby and all of that. When she checked, I was at 8 centimeters. Now for mothers, you know that at 8 centimeters, it's time to think about pushing. She said, all right, if you're at 8, it means it's time to get this baby out. I started to feel as though I wanted to defecate. So I said to her, I want to defecate, I want to use the bathroom, let me go use the bathroom. She said, no, that's what you are to feel. So mothers, it's not a myth, or I don't know if it's like that for everyone, but I really felt as though I wanted to use the bathroom. She said, all right, here's a pill. One of those potty things. shoved it under, and she was saying, all right, you don't want to do it on the bed, do it in this. So I started to feel now, out from a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, my pain was at 11. So you know what I'm talking about. It was nothing that I've ever dreamt of. You can't understand this pain if you've never felt it, right? So I started to feel that pain, and at this point, remember, my physical was weak, very weak. So she said, all right, the baby's coming, and she felt, and she said, all right, I can touch her head. It simply means that you now need to start pushing. When I felt that pain, they coached me. They said, don't scream, because when you scream, it doesn't put the pressure. It takes the pressure from where you want it. So it doesn't put the pressure down on your tummy. It sends the pressure through your mouth. Hence, the power that should go down for you to push comes really through your mouth. I said, no problem, I'm not going to scream. So when I felt that first pain when that little girl's head was coming out, my husband, a friend of mine, was there as well, my sister as well, and they said when I was through with all of that, they knew when I gave birth, not because of a cry for the cry of the baby, but because of the scream. They knew that scream was mine. I put down a piece of scream. I said, oh, I'm sorry, because I planned not to scream, but trust me, I think screaming was really the only thing that expressed somewhat how I felt. So I screamed, and the head came out, and she, milliseconds, she started to talk. You now need to get this part out because it's her shoulders. It's gonna be hotter, and if you draw back, you may kill the baby and put yourself in trouble as well. No, you tell me that. I'm gonna give it all that I have. Listen to me. When the shoulders started coming out, it was at this point that I said, God, if I have ever sinned and commit anything against your will that I have never prayed about, please forgive me. Because I was sure that I was either going to go haywire in my head or something of a serious nature was going to happen to me. Anyways, the Lord brought me through. I did that last push with a greater scream this time. And she came out. I started to lose blood. I was laying in blood. I knew I was laying in blood. I was just out of it, but I knew that I was just flooded down there with blood. They did what they had to do, did the pumping, and trust me, that was what like the hardest part for me. I felt some pain while they were pressing out. I felt as though another child was gonna come out. No, I got torn severely. It was almost as though they cut down there, but which they didn't have to. But I was that torn. At that point in time, I think they numbed the skin to do the stitching, but for whatever reason, I felt as though I felt every last thread, if it's what they call it, pulling through my skin. And so it was another series of pain. They took the baby to me, saw the baby cried and all of that. She had to get that oxygen thing in her nostril. She was having breathing issues and so on. But she was fine after a few days. She had a little bump in her head. They were watching it. One of the time they considered keeping her in the hospital because while she breathed, there was a little, there was an extra something going on here. So they thought about it. However, that didn't happen. I prayed, I asked for prayer calling, and I said, listen, pray me up because they want to probably think about keeping the baby. And God really did it again. Now, before I got to that point, that night that I delivered 7 minutes past 8. And I didn't wake up until some minutes after 11. I do not know anything that happened after that. After I saw the baby, I don't know. So when I got up, I was a bit frightened because I didn't know where she was. I didn't know anything. No, I wasn't unconscious or anything or losing my memory or anything, but I just didn't know what had happened to her at that point. I knew I saw her, but I didn't know what happened. So I got up off the bed. At that point, I realized that I had in what we call in Jamaica as the pee-pee bag. I don't remember the correct term. Forgive me for using that term. I had that in because now when I saw the nurse, she was saying, no, Mrs. Grant, sit. You've lost so much blood, you should not be walking. No, the grace of God took me off that bed. Because whilst I walked and I was talking to the nurse and she tried to get me on the bed, while she looked behind me, she realized that I was dripping blood. That's not supposed to be happening. She took me to her bed and she started to say, listen, open up and let me see something. She opened up and she pumped me blood. I heard just blood starting coming out of me again. She said a lot of things, but I remember she saying something of the sort like, you serve God? You have to serve God, not true, something of the sort. Because at that point she was explaining, that's not supposed to be around. It happens, but you are not supposed to have all of that excess blood coming out of you. Anyway, that was just God. That was just mercy and grace, right? Because I should not be walking. So if I didn't really get up to walk, they wouldn't see that the blood was dripping. Saw my baby after that. I think I came out of hospital 2 days after that. Everything went well, but then when I went home, the recovery was another story. I was so close to postpartum depression, I could not eat. My stomach would not hold anything. I could not explain how I was feeling, but I felt like I was in a battlefield daily. But I had support. I had great support. I had great support. I had tremendous persons praying for me, and I had persons who were just there with me. There was never a day that I wanted to not hold the baby. I didn't get to that point, but even when I wanted to, there were always persons, my mom, my sister, my husband, my friends who would come by and they would say, let me do this, I want to do that. I don't know what it feels like to be washing in the original state of recovery, because I had the support. So mothers out there, ensure that you have support, ensure that you have people rallying around you, praying for you, persons around you who supports what's happening with you and are able to channel you through. It wasn't easy recovering either, really, really challenging, and probably another time I can share my recovery story if I'm allowed to. But I knew that it was the hand of the Lord who have kept me and is still keeping me today. My daughter is 3, she's beautiful, she's smart, she's intelligent, and she is where she is now because of the grace of God again. Hence, I want to say to somebody this afternoon or this morning, whenever you're watching this video, that your belief must be stronger than your physical. There must be something or someone who you believe in, that in difficult times, in difficult deliveries, you know that you can count on this greater power that is within you, that's around you, that supports you. So thank you. I hope someone learns something. I hope someone is encouraged. And all the best to all the mothers who are pregnant now and expecting to deliver. All the best and take care.
I want to say thank you so much, mothers. Thank you so much, nurse, for sharing with us this evening on Broken to Be Blessed Network. It's just awesome sitting and listening to the stories, and I know that other ladies are waiting just to hear and to have a laugh and to say, oh, I remember my story too. Theresa, I know that you do some things with mother. Just take about 30 seconds and see if you can just tie up what you do and how other mothers can get involved in what you're doing.
Okay, so basically I have a mother's ministry, which I mentioned earlier, Super Mother's Strength International. On Fridays, I have a program where at 11:45 on Fridays, Eastern Standard Time, I do intercession for mothers. I have speakers that would come on, I had Prophetess McNeil last Friday. The theme for that time, it was wise mothers speak life. So she came on, she ministered to the mothers, and then we went right into intercession. So that's what I do on Friday nights. I also have a charity program where, I do donations, whether financial or gifts or whatever. I'm currently doing stuff right now. You can get in touch with me on my Facebook page. It is Lady Theresa Reid. That's my Facebook page. On YouTube, it is Super Mother Strength International with Lady Theresa. My website also is www.ladytheresareid.com. It's under construction. It's up and everything, but there, it's a work in progress. Things need to be added to it as well. So basically, and Kristal, I'm in New York, and for the other ladies who are, and that hospitality you mentioned, I think it's very, very close to me, Stone True. Right, so maybe we're in the same area, which
yeah.
Right, so pretty much that's it. The mother's mission thing that I am on. There's more to it because a lot is downloading. Like the minute I stepped out, I gave in and stepped out, he has been downloading a lot of things. It's so heavy, very heavy, but he's giving me the grace.
Okay, thank you so much, Theresa. Kristal, you do something about mothers too? You want to share with
So
our
pretty
listeners?
much, okay. So I have a YouTube channel that I started earlier this year. Throughout my pregnancy, that's something that I was on all of the time. I was watching other people's experience, their birthing experience, because I was just fascinated by the whole pregnancy situation. So after I had my daughter, that's something I actually had an interest in ever since I migrated, but I just never got to doing it. And after I had my daughter, I thought that, you know what, this, because I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my channel. But then after I had my daughter, I said to myself, you know what, I feel like I could make it something helpful for other mothers out there. So based on my experiences, they are able to learn something, because that's what helped me while I was going through everything. And it's still helping me right now. So I do have a channel. It's Chrissy B TV. That's KRISSY TV. So pretty much it's just my experience as a mom, products for babies and stuff like that, my reviews and stuff like that. So that's pretty much it.
That's Chrissy B
Okay.
TV.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Nicole doesn't have anything with mothers, but she have a lot of things. She has a business and she have a lot of things for for women. So she can go ahead and tell us where we can get some of those nice handbags and smelling stuff, so the mothers can stay pretty and smelling fabulous and all of those stuff and feel all of that. Go ahead, Nicole.
Okay, well, I started a business this year called Barrett Collections. I have an Instagram page for it as well. What I basically do is I sell, for example, fragrance mists and lotions, handbags and slippers, you know, lady stuff. So you guys can feel free to check it out. It's Barrett Collections on Instagram and on Facebook as well. Barrett.
Thank you, ladies.
Right, collections.
All right.
I'll try and get your link and add it in the description. So you have my contact. Just
Okay.
send me forward the link to me so I can add it to the description. Thank you again, ladies, and thank you, viewers, for tuning in. Remember to like, to share, and to subscribe, and tell your friends, your sister, your auntie, your even your uncles and your fathers and all your husbands to subscribe, because we're building a great network right here. Thank you,
Yes.
ladies, and have a wonderful rest of the evening. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
having
Sam.
me.